Hey, everybody. It is Lori Finkelstein-Reeder, and I'm super excited to welcome all of you to Table Talk Live today. Just a quick reminder that Table Talk Live was born so that we could find the most amazing people in real estate from all across the country to inspire each of you that are super committed to growing that real estate career and finding out how others are winning. I know when I started out in real estate a long time ago, 22, 23 years ago, a lot of the things that I learned and a lot of the way my business grew was because people who had already achieved things and they were already successful, they allowed me into their world. And so I want to keep bringing that to you, you awesome group of real estate agents. So today, without further ado, I am super excited because I have got the #1 RE/MAX team in the
world
joining us today with the one and only Gary Ashton and his partner, Debra Beagle. These two
put in their business partner before people start talking.
Yeah, business partner. I think I said business partner.
Yeah.
But let them talk, Gary. Everybody likes to talk anyway. But I have had the honor and privilege over the last couple of years to get to know Debra and get to know Gary through a coaching program. And honestly, when I think about people who have built something, who are inspiring agents. Debra, you and Gary come to mind, and I have to share just some of your stats because they're mind-blowing. I actually had to write them down because I can't remember numbers this big. In 2019, this amazing team sold 1,846 homes, totaling $641 million in volume. Now, if that's not something, I don't know what is, but you guys are my North Star today. And in 2020, even though we are all collectively going through this tough time, they are tracking already at well over 2,000 transactions. And the good news for all of you watching this, especially in that Nashville, Tennessee area, is that typically year over year, the Gary Ashton Group hires somewhere around 30 new agents. That means 30 people have the opportunity to work for the #1 team in the
world.
So this year, the opportunity coming to the Gary Ashton team is massive. It's abundant. They have huge relationships. And there's an opportunity for you if you're looking. They will hire closer to double, possibly triple the agents in 2020. So once we get done here, if you guys have questions, post them below. You can contact me, you can contact Gary, Debra. We would love to tell you all about that hiring opportunity. So without further ado, I just want to say to both of you, thank you for being a part of this. It means a lot to me. Debra, Gary, my very first question for you guys, and you can decide how you want to do this in terms of answering it. Debra's going to handle it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's called the Gary Ashton team, but there's a woman running this, and yes, a lot of lady power here. So then I'm going to go to Deb first then. So you are an incredible team leader. You're leading this group of agents. I think it's 145 approximate agents. What has been the biggest challenge as we have now? I think we're 6 weeks into COVID-19, coronavirus. What has been your biggest challenge on helping your team? That's a lot of people, Deb. That's a lot of people. Helping them function in this new normal.
Yeah. Well, it's truly been, Gary and I and the team as a whole, positivity, keeping everybody positive through this. The new normal. I mean, we have a lot of agents that have children and working from home and having to homeschool because schools were canceled. Their spouse might be home as well. So it's just adjusting to that and staying positive and focused. Our company has a lot of solutions That's one of the things I love working with Gary. He's so forward thinking, and our technology was already in place to lead us through something like this and still be productive. I mean, our agents wrote 170 contracts in April. So
that's amazing.
It's amazing out there, but and truly, I think this is again where the partnership. You know, we just had so much technology already in place. We were doing so many things already virtually, and we function as a true support system. We've always been that way. So positioning ourselves to make it through COVID, we were there to be able to do it. And then now, you know, it is really just focusing on what we can control within our day. Like I mentioned in the past to some other people, I've written more protocols and best practices for showings and photography and, you know, listings and sellers and COVID documents. And then Gary has just really been out there with helping our agents really utilize the video and the virtual tours and things like that for our listings. So it's just when you partner it with everything like that, and you've got a great agent workforce that's wanting to still help the clients. I mean, the buyers and sellers right now truly need to buy and sell. So we're just providing the service.
I love that. I love it. So awesome for you guys that you had so many systems in place previously, probably always forward thinking. We're finding a lot of consumers love the virtual environment anyway. Is there something that maybe you've had some of your agents that have really been stuck and they couldn't move forward and they were being held back? Is there a particular training that you guys added over this last 6 weeks to help, if you will, unstick them? I know some of our agents, it took them at like 2 to 3 weeks to get really comfortable, you know, doing Zoom buyer consults and doing Zoom listing consults. I know you guys are essential, we're essential, but you know, we really, for the first 6 weeks, we said to our agents, we didn't feel it was safe to go out. So where would you say that maybe you and or Gary really had to focus for the agent that was stuck? Because I'm hearing today, we still have a lot of them that are stuck.
And I'm just going to toot Gary's horn on this because he's really been driving this through the whole, I know he's going to laugh. The virtual aspect, he's always been a proponent of that. And we're seeing the value of it just explode, even more so than it was prior to COVID. And our agents are all working at it and getting over the hurdle of the video and and utilizing that. I mean, they were already there. It's just more so, and Gary's truly been a champion of that. He helps agents one-on-one. He helps me. I did, and then he's provided Bom Bom as for our agents. So, and he was really encouraging our agents to utilize this. So, but it is it's a hurdle for several, for a lot of people to be in front of the camera 24/7 because we're on Zoom calls and things like that. But I'll let Gary kind of touch on that too.
Yeah, I love that, Deb. I mean,
all we've done is brought forward the future a little bit sooner than normal because we were already in there. We were always kind of on the forefront. So I always like to be one step ahead of everybody else when it comes to technology, which is why I go to a lot of the conferences, we've got a lot of relationships around the country. We were known as the #1 RE/MAX team in the world. So that opens a lot of doors for us, for people who want us to beta test things. I like virtual reality. I like pushing forward those boundaries too. So we were like the first one to have a Matterport camera in Nashville as a team. We've been doing some beta testing with a company doing virtual reality tours with the VR camera in the house. You guys are wearing an Oculus headset. One of you might be in Chicago, one of you might be in Atlanta, but you're buying a property here, but you can both be in the same room looking at the house together. So that's a way off still, but we're a beta tester for that. So that means that we're ahead of the curve. And so when it came to the virus, the whole thing with the Zoom consultations. If you'd have said to somebody, maybe in November, can I Zoom into your house to talk to you about, what the hell are you talking about?
Said, you're a stalker.
Right, but then because of the whole scenario with people not being able to talk to each other, and so Zoom all of a sudden became like the go-to place, and so people would adopted it because they realized that it's not new technology, it's just a way of being able to communicate. So you got House Party, you've got all these other like that are going on. People doing FaceTime, they've done that for a long time. Facebook Live, so people are a little bit more used to going in front of the camera. But the Zoom brought people together because now you got families doing happy hours. People, they got Auntie Laura, who we haven't seen for a few months. Now she's part of the family kind of get together. And if you're on Instagram, all you see is people doing little pictures of their happy hours, and so it's really brought that technology up to date, which is not new. It's just made people aware of it. It's kind of like when the first motorized cars came along, you got in England. I remember that they in school they were telling us they had to have somebody walking with a flag in front of the car because they were also worried that we're going to run people over. And so then people realize, well, I can get rid of my horse and carriage because now I don't need to maintain that. I don't need a driver. So you don't really have to understand all the technicalities of internal combustion. All you just need to know is you get in a car, you can drive. So it's the same thing with technology. You don't have to understand the background. You just need to know that now you can log into Zoom. You download something once and that's it. Now you can chat to everybody. It's so that's really pushing forward the adoption from the public side. And from our side, we've always had that. So now it's just making it a little easier, I think, to get people involved.
And I love that you mentioned that this COVID environment, and I feel the same way, it kind of blasted us 2 years into the future, which is where we're going. And something I love about you as a leader, and honestly, I don't even know if you know this, but you've taught me from a distance, is that if you want your agents and your entire environment to use video, we know video is critical. Look how quick it told us video was critical. Imagine people, if you wouldn't get on Zoom or do FaceTime or anything like that at this point, well, then you're probably not going to be in real estate. So I love that you lead by example, and you are riding right alongside with your agents and your team, because I see you on video frequently. I see you talking about your community. I see you live broadcasting. I know that you guys are the official real estate agent for your sports teams locally there in Tennessee. And, I would say the name of those sports teams, but, I don't know anything about sports, but I know you're the representative. And I think it starts with a T. Is it the Titans?
Titans.
Got it. Yes. Oh, Titans. So I just honor you. And, I will tell you, 2 years ago for me, I wasn't excited to do video 2.5 years ago.
See, here's the thing. This is what I'm telling the team, the same thing. I've had Bom Bom for probably, I think the first time we got it was 2012 or something like that. And then I got it again in 2014. I got it for the whole team. Nobody would do it, unfortunately. And so we were kind of like the early adopters. But then, so I've had it all that time and I've used it, but I haven't been using it as much as I should have done. So I took the time to really delve into Bom Bom, because it's not just video email. There's so much more. And so I'm just as bad as everybody else. Somebody needs to push you to do things. People talk about getting out of the comfort zone. Well, what I'm telling the agents is, you don't have to worry about how you look. You don't have to worry about, especially for the ladies, because ladies are always concerned about whether their makeup's perfect, whether their hair's perfect. You really, and what I'm saying is, as long as you could meet me today in the parking lot or in a restaurant or somewhere, have that kind of, you're comfortable talking to me in that scenario. So that's the same thing as what the video is in the Bom Bom. It's just a connection. It doesn't have to be a TV production.
Right.
And that's the biggest thing, I think, Lori, right now too, for agents that are listening. We have the technology. So how do you use it? How do you incorporate that into your business? And we're working with our agents on doing that. Right now it's more critical than ever to communicate with our clients. How do we do that? We do that through touches, and we teach. That is, the consumer right now can go on the internet and find a lot of information out. So how are you going to be relevant and provide value as an agent? During this time period, we have a ton of agents that are getting additional designations. They're learning their local market. We're doing Zoom calls on geographic areas, on luxury, on any topic. I think we had 23 classes last month on different things in the market. So as an agent, you need to be positioning yourself as the local expert, market expert, and then be sharing that information with your clients and teaching them that. And there's no better way than a horizontal GA video that is similar to television. Right now, we don't have a lot of new television programming out there. So the consumer is hungry for interaction. And the ways that you can do that is to provide value that they can't find on their own on the internet. And, we partner with Follow Up Boss. That's another one with Bom Bom. That's all integrated. So our agents can be right in there, sending them texts and email and using video in their business. So, I think right now it's critical for agents to become industry experts. Negotiation skills, negotiation classes are top right now. How to win in multiple offers. We did a class the other day on that, handling backup offers and kick-out clauses, which I think that's another thing that's coming. So being a local industry expert, knowing your market, learning, educating to where you can educate others. If you pass that information on to the consumer, and to your clients, you're going to grow in knowledge.
Yeah.
You partner that with tech, you're going to be that go-to person. And the client, the consumer out there, if you're reaching out to them and touching them and being of service and providing value, when they need you or someone in real estate, they're going to reach out to you because they're already going to have that visual connection.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, hitting boom, the nail on the head. The consumer is thirsty for information. And so from our perspective, we see that this COVID-19 environment has really unveiled, if you will, made our entire industry transparent. So those agents that are getting these other designations, they're educating themselves and they're providing value to the consumer, especially now. I think make clients for life under those circumstances. So I've got another question for you guys. Hopefully you love this question. It's my favorite one. And I think it makes all of us think. And that is, now that we're 6 weeks into this new COVID, new normal, whatever that means, what would you say are the systems, processes, all the things that you find that you've added to your business, are doing differently, that are helping you win? Because you guys wrote 170 new contracts this month. We need to hear what you have to say. What are those things you're doing that you will keep doing continually, as even if we get far past this COVID-19 environment? What will you maintain in your business?
Well, everything that we're doing with video, pushing that.
Video.
We just talked about it for like 10 minutes, but the systems, we have in place, all we're doing is tweaking those. I think the time that we have now to maybe review a little bit better, and then more accountability, essentially. I don't think there's no new systems that I'm aware of. It's just really.
Have you guys added like more team Zoom meetings? So you're not with your team physically. So what have you added virtually that you're saying, wow, this really works. We're going to keep doing this forever. It's awesome.
Well, I think that what we had before is so much training, but now because of the COVID, now that training has become virtual. So I actually think that maybe we've seen the value of the fact that now more people can come to the training, because now they're not having to drive somewhere to come to a class, so they can do the training, and we're recording it, so we're making it available for people after.
Do you feel that the agents are embracing more training because it's more on their schedule? They don't have to go someplace, and they can listen to it at a later time if they're not available when you're doing a live?
Yeah, I mean, there's pluses and minuses for that, because to me, the best way to do that is if you're there and present, but now you can't. So now we're seeing that maybe sometimes that might be better for the agents. So like, we never had virtual team meetings.
Right.
Yeah.
Neither did we until 6 weeks ago. I mean, I don't know about you guys. We have a bigger show up rate virtually. It's amazing to see how many people show up.
Yeah, and so you've got to be considerate of the people that have other obligations. Maybe they've got kids, and now with everybody having kids at home. So in the past, maybe that was a reason why, if the kids were sick, then you couldn't come to the team meeting. But now you can Zoom in. So I think we'll probably maintain that option for people to be able to Zoom in. And like, if I'm traveling, I couldn't go to the team meeting if I was in San Diego, a conference, and I couldn't make it. But now I can Zoom in. So I've always liked the virtual aspect of it. It's kind of like that yin and yang. And it's like, there's benefits for being able to do things virtually, but there's also benefits of having people together in a room. There's all that chit chat that goes on. So I think that's what's going to, when we come out of this, things are going to change. People might not spend as much time. I'm talking about the public now. Might not be in the office quite so much. They might go to a 2 or 3 day work week and then rotate and come in a couple of days. Because I think what people are finding is that virtually you can get a lot more done. Because now if you're working, not me so much, but if you're in an office environment and you're working, and then I know Michelle walks past and goes, "Hey, what's that? Hey, what are you working on?" Yeah. So you're engaged in this little conversation that's drawing you away from what you're focusing on. Whereas at home, you can be totally focused on that. Right. But you still miss that interaction with people. So of course, I think there'll be a balance. So it'll be interesting to see how things develop. And also, people like hanging out with their dogs at home. So
well, in our office, we're not in our office anymore, but we had our own, if you will, our own little office dog, because one of our admin always brought her dog to work every day. But yeah, really interesting. So Deb, I would love to ask you, do you feel like this has taken down a lot of barriers and walls, possibly for people who might be really powerful at real estate, but need more access to being home, including hiring outstanding support staff?
Yeah, I mean, our support staff is just phenomenal. And I think too, just touching on what we were talking about before too, I think, we were already starting to do a lot of virtual before this. I mean, we were recording classes. We were starting to really go full out with it. But what I love too now with meetings and training, because the whole purpose of it is to educate and to help agents better themselves. And you've got the chat feature on these where we can be asking questions. And then when you get to the end, which in a normal meeting with a lot of people, it's a little bit harder to do that. And as we go and they ask questions on certain topics. So now it's just normal to do a Zoom. And we get a lot of turnout for that. So our support staff, took to working from home. I mean, it was just an easy switch. And really, we wouldn't even need them going into the office if we didn't have to pick up some earnest money checks. We've been using Earnest, which is an app where you can actually pay your trust money through.
Oh, that's great.
So it's an ACH, kind of like an electric, you pay your electric bill kind of thing. So we started doing that during the 2019 draft. We were one of the first in our market to switch to that. So, we really were positioned from the get-go to thrive in this. And I'm just seeing what I really love is the hunger for education and professional, personal growth of our agents. And and they've really jumped on the board. And then we do accountability groups each week too. I think almost 60 of our agents are in those weekly. And that's where we're making commitments on the personal and professional level.
Right.
Weekly commitments, which I think you're doing those too. Aren't you guys doing those? Or
we did do them in the past. We are about to dive back into them, but I love hearing everything you're saying. You know, same for us. Our support staff, you know, they're just second to none, and they adapted like that. And we find that a lot of our agents are actually more productive at home, and then there is another group that's less productive at home. And I think that's just us as leaders developing better training, more, you know, more motivation. And for us, when the agent is less productive, I just start looking at our calendar saying, you know, where are we falling down? What else can we teach? How can we continue to educate and bring value from our side? But I just want to ask you guys, my very last question is one that the whole world wants to hear, because they want to hear from people who are just hitting it out of the park, and that's you guys. I mean, it does not get better than your team. You are #1 in the world for RE/MAX, and that's amazing. And you can answer together or separately. What is one thing you would want to share with agents today, coming from you personally, about how they can win right now, maybe giving them 1 or 2 or 3 action steps, how they can go out and win in real estate today? I'm writing these down.
I'll go first, and then Gary can top it off. Again, it is communicating with the client right now, just checking in, call, see how you're doing. How are you doing? That's all. I'm here. If you have questions, communicate, educate, you know, and just make those touches, because that is setting it then for when they're ready and they need you. You were just checking on them. You've been there checking on them, and it's using all the different resources, you know, call, text, email, but just to check on them. We're not selling anything. We're just calling to say hello. That's the biggest thing right now. And it is hard because mentally a lot of people, you know, are struggling with that. The agents themselves are struggling with that, but that's something that's in their control. You know, you're home, you control your day. Get up, set your schedule, and make those calls just to talk to people and see how they're doing.
I love it. You know, maybe they should change the name to our business. When you want to get into real estate, it should say, do you want to get into the nurture business, into the human interaction business? Because we forget, you know, the consumer has a thought, and we want to be there to let them know we care, and we want to be their go-to when the time comes. But I love that we are doing the same. You guys are calling to see how people are. My gosh. Okay, that doesn't get any easier. I love that. Thank you. So Gary, how would you encourage the agent today on how to win in real estate?
Well, I mean, we've all said it. It's really just about adding value. So
yes,
you become the real estate resource. So, I mean, you can go on, if you were moving to Nashville right now, Lori, you could go online, you could find information about all the homes that are for sale. But you're not going to know all the information about the communities, the restaurants, the lifestyle, the benefits of here, the drive times, all that good stuff. So, and the other thing that the internet doesn't give you everything that's out there. So the realtors have a lot of inside information in terms of they know what new developments are coming. They're in touch with the real estate community. So it's really just more about adding value and being a resource,
love it.
and staying in touch with people. Because I think the one thing that most people do is they sell a house and they say, we'll be friends for life, and then they don't. So it's really about developing systems, which are systems, but they're really ways for you to help you stay in touch with your past clients and to do those pop buys or virtual pop buys, or just reaching out and letting them know that, you know, I know, Lori, you just got a new puppy. I wanted to introduce you to there's an awesome training school that I took my dog to, Nashville Canine. I think you would love it. So but staying in touch and adding value like that.
I love it. You're letting them know that you are their go-to for real estate and everything else.
You're the gatekeeper for a lot of things, and especially
Exactly, the gatekeeper. Speaking of puppies, I don't know if Reggie is nearby, but I'm sure everybody would love to see him. He left. Reggie's
neighbor again.
Gary's got the cutest new puppy, but I'm not really sure how to express my gratitude for both of you, but I said it in the beginning of the show. I'm going to say it at the end of the show. And it's just my honor and my privilege, one, to call you both a friend. And I want to just let you guys know that in terms of accomplishment, not just in number of sales, but how you lead people, how you deeply care for people is truly a big North Star for myself, and a lot of things I learned from both of you, I bring back to my real estate team. So to all the people that are watching Table Talk Live, again, this was born so that I would have the opportunity to bring great people like you guys for 30 minutes whenever I can, so that you can inspire and help those, because we were all new at some point or in the middle of our careers. And I'm very grateful for both of you for sharing all of this valuable information. And I just thank you guys.
Thank you, Lori. This is what it's all about. And I think the more you have the support around you, and I think that's why it really helps having a good team of people around you that you work together with, because, we think so much alike, but I focus in this area, and you put the two together and it's just so much greater. When you've got great people, working together to help and service the community, I mean, it's just, it's a great thing. So,
well, it's just like, to me, the analogy is just like being in a band. I play drums. If I play drums by myself, that's not any good. Who wants to hear that? So you need a bass player, then you need a guitarist, you need a singer. So the combination, that's the teamwork, and what's the end result? You come up with some awesome songs, as long as you have some awesome songwriters. But individually, you're a great bass player, I'm a great drummer, you're a great singer, great guitar, but bring them together. That's that whole thing with, actually with music, a lot of times things gel and sometimes they don't. But when you get a good teamwork and when it gels, you're much stronger together than you are as individuals. And that's how I feel our team is. And with all the agents and the staff, I think, we got all the people behind the scenes that are doing so much but we're all on the same, you're on the same path. We all want the same things. I never have arguments with Debra. Like, there's no way we're doing that, because
who would ever argue with Debra?
No. So one thing is, we never have I never go, are you kidding me? What the heck are you doing? And vice versa.
Right.
We might have a slightly different viewpoint of how we do it, but the end goal is always to make sure it's a cliche, but we're trying to give the client the best possible experience. And that also relates to the agents. We're trying to create the best possible environment for them to build their business, create business for them, and help them grow over a period of time. So it's the team.
I love it. Well, I'm going to personally consider myself a backup singer to the Gary Ashton #1 team in the world.
Normally I use car analogies, so that was a good one, I thought.
That was a really good one, GA. I love that.
Well, I hope you guys have a great day, and I thank you again. And I just love you both.
We love you so much. We love you. I cannot wait to come to Miami. I'm sorry.
And Miami cannot wait to have you, but we should wait a little bit. It's a little rough in Miami still. We got to wait a little bit.
But I have to ask, was there this big boat thing yesterday?
I probably wasn't paying attention.
Oh, okay. My husband,
I'm anti-news.
Builds boats, sports boats. So they build boats, but we heard there was some huge boat in Miami or something yesterday. So
I don't know. But I wish you guys an amazing day, and I thank you again. I'm about to blow you a big kiss. Mwah. Have a great day.
Thank you. See ya. Adios. So long. So long.